We're always told that self-awareness is this incredible superpower, that it's the key to, I don't know, success, happiness, the whole shebang. But what if it has a hidden cost? What if the very thing that makes you so insightful also makes you your own worst enemy? Today, we're going to dive into the surprising, kind of dark side of this celebrated strength.
It's a really strange paradox when you think about it, isn't it? It feels like the more you understand about yourself and the world around you, the louder that nagging inner critic gets. It's almost like your own intelligence is being weaponized against you. So let's unpack that. Why does this actually happen?
All right, first up, let's talk about a character I'm willing to bet many of us know all too well. That persistent, relentless critic that just loves to live rent-free inside our heads.
Yeah, that's the one. It's the voice that replays your mistakes on a non-stop loop, shines a giant spotlight on every single flaw, and just loves to whisper that you're not quite good enough. And look, this isn't just a random passing thought. For a lot of highly self-aware people, it's a constant state of being, this chronic self-evaluation, this never-ending internal pressure to be better.
But here's the twist. That inner critic, it's not just some random flaw in your personality. It's actually a byproduct of one of your greatest strengths. And that, right there, creates a really fascinating paradox.
And this brings us right to the core idea we're talking about today, the intelligence paradox. I mean, logically, you would think that being smarter and more self-aware would lead to more confidence, right? But so often, it's the complete opposite. That sharp, high-definition view you have of yourself can actually amplify every little perceived flaw, making you feel more inadequate, not less. So let's break down how that actually works.
So where does this paradox come from? Well, it's all rooted in something we can call the curse of potential.
Think of it this way. Having higher intelligence and self-awareness is like upgrading the camera you use to view yourself. You go from some blurry, old, low-resolution image to a crystal-clear 4K close-up. And suddenly, bam, you see everything. Every single flaw, every mistake, every imperfection, all in painful high-definition detail. So with low self-awareness, you've got this kind of fuzzy, out-of-focus idea of your flaws and your potential. It's all a bit hazy. But with high self-awareness, oh man, you see the gap with excruciating clarity. The gap between the person you are right now and the person you know you could be. And that gap, well, that's the breeding ground for your inner critic.
Okay, so we know that this gap creates pain. And that pain comes from a very, very specific and powerful type of comparison that we're all doing. And this part is absolutely crucial to get. Not all comparison is created equal. We tend to measure ourselves in two totally different arenas, and one of them is way more damaging than the other. So the first type is the one we all know, comparing yourself to others. It's external, it's about status, achievements, it's a finite game. You can win or you can lose. But that second type, that one's internal. It's comparing yourself to your own potential. And that is an infinite game. The finish line is always moving because your ideal self is a moving target. You are, in essence, competing against the ghost of the person you could become. And this just nails it, doesn't it? The real source of all that chronic pressure, that nagging feeling, it isn't about beating somebody else. It's the exhausting, relentless race against your own potential. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem pretty thoroughly. Now, what do we do about it? Well, the key isn't to silence that inner critic. It's actually to reframe your relationship with it, to finally understand what that voice is really trying to tell you.
So the solution is basically a three-step mental shift. First, you have to acknowledge that seeing your own flaws with such clarity isn't a bug, it's a feature of your intelligence. It's part of the package. Second, you have to identify what's really happening. That inner judge isn't just being mean for the sake of it. It's measuring you against the vast potential that it sees inside you. And finally, the most powerful step, reframe. You have to understand that your inner critic isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a direct reflection of your own ambition.
So I want to leave you with this question to really chew on. What if you chose to see that inner voice not as your enemy, but as the part of you that believes so fiercely in what you can become? What if your harshest critic is actually your biggest fan? They're just speaking a language you haven't learned to translate yet. Something to think about.